All right. What's up, Katie? I saw your message. It's funny. It shows 7:27. I guess it shows up a second late. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes for people to join here. And if you guys have any questions as you're joining, feel free to send them my way. Leave them in the chat here. I will see them. I'm trying to get this refocused. It's very bright here. When you've arrived, let me know. Unlike Instagram, on YouTube, I can't see who's joined. If you have any technique questions, I'll go over that and just leave it in the chat here. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because YouTube's got all sorts of new requirements on the ways that you can monetize your videos. Not this one, but others. So if you have technical questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat. Let me know you're here. I see a few of you joining now. It just hit 7:30. I'll go over whatever you guys would like me to talk about. What's up, Lucas? Awesome. Glad you made it in. Whoever asked the first technical related question, really anything guitar related, music related, I'll start from there. See a few more of you joining now. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Appreciate it. Let me know if you have any technique questions. I'm waiting for the first one to roll in. Guitar questions in general. Music, whatever. I wish I could pin comments here on YouTube like I can, and I don't think I can. Like I can on Instagram. Yeah, nope, there's no way to. Well, let me know if you guys have any, if you're just joining, let me know if you made it here. Oh, that's a good question, Lucas. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them, and I'll leave them in the chat and I'll get to them. Lucas asks, could you explain to us how do you study dynamic for apply in pieces? It's a little hard to understand what you're saying, but I think what you're asking is like, how do you decide on dynamics, or how do you apply dynamics? How do you study dynamics for applying in pieces? I'll go over the applying part because, of course, the choice of, favorite tremolo practice technique, Jose asked. Thank you for the comment, guys. And thank you for subscribing. I see a few of you guys just subscribed. I see, thank you, Jana Mattia. Okay, so I'm going to go over how to apply dynamics in the pieces that you're working on, because studying them and like how to choose what dynamics is like a really big topic, and it's depending on the piece, the style, and like the phrase. So we don't have an example piece of music here to go over. Let's talk about how to apply it in your pieces. I'm a believer in at least trying to apply dynamics right from the beginning when you start learning a piece. Now, it doesn't have to be like so set in stone. It doesn't have to be the final thing. But as soon as you start working on a piece, it's good to think about like, where's a melodic line? For instance, in this Scarlatti that I'm playing, it starts like this. It starts like this. So therefore, the line is... So the first basic idea is to start with this quiet, louder, louder, loudest, and then back down. And the reason why I say to practice dynamics straight from the beginning of learning a piece is you have so much muscle memory involved, and when you're when muscle memory is involved and you're playing something difficult, if you get this muscle memory of playing it all the same in the right hand, it's likely to come out that way. And when you try to change it, it's very difficult because you got very used to that and you practice it so much. So whatever you're doing, you make musical changes later, but try to pick some dynamic things right from the beginning and write it in your score. That's a really good way to do it. In the music, write in your crescendos or decrescendos or terrace dynamics and just make it really detailed. Then when you're reading the music, you won't forget to do it that way, especially if you make it very obvious. I use colors on my iPad. And if you don't have a tablet, you can also use erasable color pencils. You can get those on Amazon or like at Walmart for super cheap. No problem, Lucas. Did that answer your question at all? That's how I'd say applying dynamics should work. And also to do it really slow. I guess I'll talk about that for a second. For instance, sometimes you have to apply, I can give a great example of where. Sometimes you have to apply dynamics in really fast passages, and that might only be a few notes. For instance, if you had to play this, you might think, oh, okay, I'll start soft and get loud. But if you do that, you might think, and then no one ever really even notices. Like, it doesn't even sound like I got louder. So if you practice slow, you can play that first. You think, okay, first, I've got 5 notes that I'm going to be distributing this crescendo from. And you got to start really quiet if you want it to be noticeable over 5 notes in a fast passage. So maybe you play it slow like this. Oh, too loud. So I'm going to start over. And then maybe you play it again. Again. It takes a lot of focus. So see, if you start this kind of thing like carelessly, then your crescendo is going to be noticeable to no one. See this? I don't know how much you can tell over YouTube, but sometimes as a player you feel like you're making a big change, but it's not enough for people to notice over 5 notes. And where I was going to bring up the example of where I really had to think about this was in this piece, In Los Trigales by Rodrigo. It has this little passage that it goes. Okay, so when it's really fast, which that's not even that fast, but oh, you're auditioning at UM. What's that? Do you mean UWM here in Milwaukee? No way. Or you mean you mean University of Miami, I think. Sure. Good luck in your audition. I'll get to that, Matthias. Good luck. Okay, anyways, in this little passage, when I first started that piece, I started this maybe at like this. And while that maybe sounds good in legato, it's not effective. And after listening to some recordings, I was like, wow, some people are very effective at doing this. Pepe Romero's recording, he starts very quiet. So I tried to mimic this and see if I could start really quiet, get loud, and then get quiet again. So like this. It's very difficult, especially fast passages. When we play fast, sometimes we squeeze too much on both ends of the guitar and everything ends up coming out the same volume. And the nice thing is, you might think, oh, playing musical requires more focus. That's true, but what it also does when you are thinking musically like that, it makes you more relaxed. Because in order to do this, you have to be very relaxed. It distracts your brain from the technical process and it puts all your energy towards the musical progress. It's something that's been really revolutionary for me, I think, in my playing in the past year. Okay, I'm trying to remember some of these questions here. So wow, that was a long time on that first question. Sorry, guys. By the way, those of you just joining, I see there's a bunch of you here now. What's up, Brian? Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you just swiped up for my Instagram story and you haven't yet. It helps me a lot with YouTube's new policies. And also let me know if you're here and if you have any questions, or there's something that you're curious about, or you have any technical subjects that you would like to hear discussed. Leave it in the comments, or anything to add to the conversation. Okay, so Jose says, favorite tremolo practice techniques. So I have to say, with tremolo, there's so many different exercises I did when I was just learning it. I remember like going so slow, and I went through this whole book called The Art of Tremolo, and it's got like a million exercises, like all sorts of different things that you can do. So like the things that I do now are a little bit different, because now I'm just thinking more about evenness and absolute speed and consistency. But I will tell you that I think if I had to go back and do it all again, I maybe wouldn't have gone through every one of those exercises. It's a little sloppy. It's impossible to get through all of them every day, and also they're so fragmented that I don't know, it's hard to note progress on it, even though you're like, oh, that's a great exercise. I think I'm more along the lines of like doing a specific practice technique for like a very complete one for a tremolo, and doing it every single day and just trying to get better at it. But I would say one of the best ones is Carlevaro, Carlevaro, Book 2. And it's all about arpeggios. And you might think, well, how does this have to do with tremolo? Like, that's not a tremolo practice technique. Well, tremolo is kind of like the culmination of all right hand technique. It's like, if you have a great right hand technique, you probably have great tremolo. And anyways, in that book, it's got all these right hand arpeggio patterns that go like this. And it does all combinations of that, as you can imagine. So this A, M, I, M, A, and also A, I, M, I, A, M, A, I, A, M, A, I, A, I. So it has 4 combinations for each finger where you start with. Then you start starting with M, and you go M, A, M, I, M, A, M, I, M, A, M, I. But later in the book, and this is something you should go through the whole book, it has you do this exercise where it is like tremolo, where it's all on one string. You do the same thing in the bass, but you play like this. The same patterns that you do for arpeggios, but all on one string. So A, M, I, M, A, M, I, M, A, M, I, M, A, M, I, M. Right? So this has you, obviously tremolo is just this, right? But it has you go back and forth, and it really helps you develop the strength and dexterity of the other fingers. And then it has you do all the different combinations of that. And while I'm not too warmed up right now to show you all of these, something I do is I do the arpeggios, and then I do the tremolo version of it. And maybe the first few times to get warmed up, I play it really staccato like this. Really prepared is what I should say. But he has very good technical instruction on this in the book. And I can't recommend those enough. I think it's a very complete study of the right hand. And if you can do all of those, what I would do is figure out the combinations that are worst. You'll see he calls them forms. If you put a little star, you can buy the book for cheap online or find a PDF or something. If you put a star next to the ones that you're bad at, which it's going to be a lot of them in the beginning. That's what I did. I start working those and try to bring the level of those really high so that it's better than the other ones. And then I'll do another analysis and see what I'm worst at. Sorry, yeah. You know what, Jose, if you can see Lucas's comment here, that's how it's spelled. It's Carlevaro, and it's book 2. He's got 4 books on technique, or maybe more than that, but this series, it's Carlevaro book 2, and it's called something like, oh, I can't remember. But if you just Google Carlevaro book 2, you'll find it. Okay, so next question. By the way, guys, just leave comments here. I see about 10 of you joined. I'm happy to see you all here. If you haven't said hi yet, let me know. Lucas is hooking it up. All right, so Matthias Kobo, good luck at your audition. He's auditioning at University of Miami tomorrow. He asked, any tips on keeping focus and avoiding mistakes? In auditions, I assume is what you're talking about. You know, there's not too much that you can stress about now and worry about. I would say the best thing to keeping focus and avoiding mistakes is to just relax in the audition. And really, I mean this, just try to enjoy it. Just try to enjoy playing guitar, and that's all you can really do now. Avoiding mistakes, no, you're going to, okay, here's my best tip on that, is that you're going to make mistakes. Accept that you're going to make mistakes. The people you are auditioning for, I guarantee you every concert they make mistakes that they're kicking themselves for afterwards. Everyone knows it's a human thing to make mistakes, but what's an inhuman thing is to play so careful and so particular that you think that there's no way you can make a mistake. That's not a good way to go about it, and it's better you just enjoy yourself, and if you make a stupid mistake, it doesn't matter, as long as the music isn't ruined. And you won't ruin the music, you've been practicing for this, so have confidence in yourself and just enjoy the music. Otherwise, that's when you'll feel regret. There's a time, by the way, that I've won a prize in a competition when I made a huge memory slip, and I had to stop and start like maybe a second and a half of total silence when the line was straight 16th notes. Completely stopped and started, but I didn't let it throw me off too much, and still got a prize in that competition. So that's kind of crazy, right? Like, it's not always about making no mistakes. Even though a competition environment is where they say that's the most important, to not make mistakes. It's not necessarily true. Okay, let's see. Any other questions, guys? I've gotten only a few so far. I've covered them pretty in depth, but let me know. There's 10 of you guys watching right now. I'm sure you guys got some stuff. If you haven't said hi yet, stop in the chat. Got a little bit of a head cold. Can't even taste this tea that I'm drinking. It tastes like hot water. Yo, Billy, what's up? Any topic that you'd like to see or ask about or suggest? Lock up the draw, the whole thing? Or just one of the movements? Wow, this is a nice exercise. I should warm up with this. I don't mean that in a weird jerk way. But like played slowly, it's a great warm-up. Obviously I can't play it fast as a warm-up. Okay, Matthias says the whole thing in the Prelude to Lute Suite 2. Well, I'll tell you that you'll probably not, I should be fun, the professor already knows you, yeah. You're probably not going to play that whole thing. Okay. Ooh, nice. Also, some questions coming in. Martin, can you briefly go over your thumb technique, especially paired with tremolo and arpeggio plucking? Making a fluid cause my thumb feels kind of stiff when it's waiting to be used in a pattern. I see. Okay, I can talk about that. Billy, 1 second. I'll get to that. Martin, thank you for your question. Especially paired with tremolo and arpeggio picking, making it fluid, causing my thumb feels kind of stiff. It's waiting to be used in a pattern. I would say get used to resting your thumb when you're doing other types of exercises, not just your arpeggios. And this is important. Rest your thumb in a position on the strings to where it's actually ready to be played when you're just resting it. So for instance, say you were playing this. Right? You don't need your thumb for any of this, but rest your thumb here on the A string and occasionally, just totally relax it, just occasionally throw in a little. To really no pattern. And then just try to throw it in more. So I think that's a really good idea because the problem is, this is something I struggle with too. I used to rest my thumb in places, for instance, for rest stroke, you kind of have to. You rest your thumb in places where it's not used so much, like it's like maybe between two strings, your nail's not even on the string. But yeah, when you're playing free stroke, try to rest your thumb in places where it actually helps. Also, feel that, now you don't want it to do this, You don't want it to, excuse me, you don't want it to be like resting all your weight on it, but feel that when you're resting your thumb, that it's actually resting some weight of your hand on it. That helps you relax your thumb a little bit more, rather than feeling like you're sticking your thumb out to place it, right? That's my best advice for that kind of thing. Just rest your thumb in a useful place, and every now and then just play. It doesn't have to make sense in the key. Let me know how that works for you, and stay relaxed. Don't think about exercise. Just kind of make one up that makes you use your thumb relaxed. But, more than that, it's tough to say without looking. By the way, I see 11 of you guys watching. If all 11 of you could click the thumbs up button, I would so much appreciate it. It helps me out on YouTube a lot. I see 4 people have. Let's see if it starts going up. Come on. 7, all right. 3 instantly. Okay. Billy Salvador, 8, sweet. Left hand exercises. Been practicing a lot and it's getting sore. Tips on slow, increased practice time. You know what? That's a good question. One of my very good friends, she's working on a project. Well, no, it's dealing with finger injuries and stuff. But one of the things that she mentioned is that people don't talk about how to ramp up your practice time from like maybe the typical starting music student thinks like 2 hours a day is a lot, but then like 5, you don't want to just jump to that. You want to like slowly build into it. And while I'm not an expert on finger injuries or anything like that, my tip to increasing practice time, like total throughout the day, would be to take lots of breaks. They say to stand up every 15 minutes. So I would say break up your practice sessions into spreading throughout the entire day. Like right when you wake up, after you do some stretches and drink some coffee and eat your breakfast, whatever, or even before breakfast. Segovia practiced before breakfast, believe it or not. So it's in his biography. So practice like 30 minutes right when you wake up, and then maybe an hour later, 45 minutes. And then 2 hours later, another 45. 3 hours later, 3 hours or 2 hour practice session. When the day's already gone by and your body is warmed up. That's the kind of way to approach practicing longer. And also divide the time, like don't do all your technique in one sitting, which I do that sometimes, admittedly. But if you're having issues with your hands getting sore after a certain amount of practice, then that's what I would advise. Okay, Matthias asks, tips for nail growth and strength. Fortunately, I have really strong nails that grow fast, so I don't do much for nail care. But there's supplements that you can buy, like Biotin. It's over the counter. You can buy it at any drugstore, and if you take that, it might help. Also, there's tons of different things that you can coat your nail with for nail strength, but what I would advise you to do is to just Google classical guitar nail strength, and then read topics that people have talked about this online. I would suggest the classical guitar subreddit or the Del Camp forums. Check those out. Okay, what kind of stretches do you do before, hold on. I think I have many dynamics troubles. Any book you suggest to study it? Not really. I would try things that I'm talking about. I would do some, I don't know, maybe, it's not like, I don't even know if there's a guitar book on specifically dynamics. It's just like covered in things. I would look up SOAR studies, like maybe this one. And just follow the dynamic markings to the T, the Segovia version, and start it really. Like this, right? I'm not even sure if that's written, but yeah. Jose asked, what kind of stretches do you do before playing? To be honest with you, the only stretches that I do like before playing, like say in the morning, would be like type things like stretching my back and like reaching for my toes. And also I have shoulder problems because I've had a couple of surgeries. So I do some of these like windmill type things. Like you can actually see how this arm doesn't go up as high as the other one naturally. So I do that kind of thing to stretch out my shoulders. So remember, these muscles that you're using to play go all the way up to here, like all the way to your collarbone. So it's good to stretch everything out, not just do like finger exercises. But when I'm feeling sore or I need to stretch, I do these types of exercises. I hold my arm out like this. I go like this. I do one as well, like that, both hands. And one super important thing, do not pull like this and then just let go and let your hand fling back. That's a way to cause injuries like crazy. Don't do that. Same thing. When you stretch an individual finger, don't just like flick it out. I'm so scared to do that. Like people think that's like efficient, and it's so stupid. I've seen people do it though, and just flick it forward. Don't do that. It's a way to really hurt yourself. Okay. I won't talk too much more about stretches, but again, YouTube, very good stuff out there. Hey Evan, I've been having some issues with my shifting, particularly on the upper and 3-octave scales. Any advice? Yeah. Oh geez, what is the book? It might be Carlavaro. Oh, or Isnaiola. Both of them. So there's an entire. No, this is good. It's Carlavaro. There's an entire book on shifting. I think it's book 4. I don't know if it's 3 or 4, but it has these great exercises. So it does something like this. I'm trying to remember. What is it? I don't know. It's something like this, and it makes you connect the line, and it's a really good book on shifting. I'd really check those out, though. Those can really help you. Biotin, coat minerals, is super glue underneath. Yeah, Jose. There's other stuff out there, but like I said, online is better. I don't know. My professor uses some sort of system with like a UV light, but I don't even know what it's called. If you said it, I would know, but I don't remember now. It's Quadernio 3. Awesome. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, let me see other comments here. Yeah, you just started on that, Matthias. Okay, sweet. Yeah, cool. Hey, thanks for the 8 of you that did the thumbs up here. I really appreciate it. Also, like, I'm curious how much this increases my the number of minutes viewed. YouTube's new system's such a mess. I'm studying with Renee Izquierdo right now here at UW in Milwaukee. Highly suggested, by the way. He's a great teacher. In my opinion. And lots of others, to be honest with you. I'm doing my master's. No, it's okay, Matthias. Kubo. Sorry you missed the name. Renee Izquierdo. He's a Cuban virtuoso. He's amazing. Ponce, you caught that. Oh, geez, nice. Okay, off topic, but do you have anything to say starting an Instagram like yours? Yeah, people ask me this quite often. I would say, so it's different because in my day when I started it, it was like 4 years ago, and there wasn't too many guitarists on Instagram. Now it's like so saturated, but I would say post frequently and engage in the community. Comment on people's videos and try to offer something that other people aren't doing. Try a new angle maybe, or talk about guitar in a different way, or play music that's cool that isn't out there. I don't know. I'd say if you're starting an account, maybe every day, 4 times a day if you can. The more the better, actually. But not to be confused with bad content. You have to, it has to be good stuff, you know? Yes, Tor. So, okay, I'm reading other things here. Yes, Ponce. I don't know why I always play the scale. I think it's because it sounds so good on this guitar, this note. That range. Flatting that 7, you got some mixed lighting going on, huh? Okay, so any other questions here? Yes, there are bilingual. Like all of these Carlavaro books, they have like it says Spanish, and then to the right of it, it's English. Like usually start Spanish, and there's an English translation to the right, so that's really nice. Yeah. Okay, any other questions, guys? let me know. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do that too. Sorry to harass you guys about that. That is if you like these videos and you want to see more. I was planning on doing this tip series once a week, and I posted a couple already, but yeah, maybe I'll make one tonight, but I do have a lot of practice to do. I'll wait a second longer for your questions here. Good idea, Matthias. I would say if you're filming yourself, to make sure that you do one take. Like, don't start and then restart. See, the problem with this is in your audition, you don't get to start and restart. It doesn't matter how bad you mess up, you just have to accept that that's it. Because the second you start recording and you start like this and you make a mistake, you're like, okay, that won't happen. What you start doing is you start creating an unrealistic expectation of how it's going to go, which means as soon as you make a stupid mistake in your audition, you start feeling, or competition performance, whatever, you start feeling like total crap. And actually, every time we get extremely nervous and start panicking and feeling like we're playing like crap, as much as we don't want to admit it, it's like an egotistical thing, because we're saying to ourselves that that we're way better than we really are, when we're not. You know, we have to just accept that we make mistakes. We think like, oh man, I'm way better than this. It's a strange thing, you know. We think maybe we're upset about mistakes, and that's kind of like a sign of strength, like where you need to like get better at our instruments and everything, and that's what it leads you to do. But it's also a very bad negative outlook, thinking like, oh, I'm so much better than this, because we're not. We're only as, like, of course there's flukes, but in general things go the way they tend to go when you practice performing. You just have to actually for real practice performing. No restarts, no second takes. Okay, sorry about that rant. The Fugue from 998, do you have a favorite version? No, not really, to be honest with you. I learned from a version that I can't even think of right now, but I changed so much in it that I don't even know. I don't know what edition I would pick now if I was starting out fresh. But I would say look at a lot of them and don't get too married to one. And listen to a lot of people play it on both harpsichord, piano, guitar, and then try to base your opinion more on that, as well as listening to what experts have to say about it, because, you know, some people add a lot of stuff. I would say maybe learn it with a capo. I learned it without, and I love that I can play so much of it without having to be like, oh, where's my capo? But it's tons of stretches without it. And to me, everything that's on these lower strings is like an easy part. Everything that's up here, I don't even remember it. It's tough. Nice, you're playing it in D. Yeah, I like being able to play it without a capo and having to rely on that crap all the time. All right, guys, I think I'm going to get going here, but thank you for watching the stream. And subscribe if you didn't, please, after you watch this video. And hope you guys all have a nice weekend. I will see you later. Good luck at your audition, Matthias, and thank you guys all for tuning in. Peace.